Hey there, 8th graders. It is Article of the Week time this week. So we are going to be doing a different type of article. These are the ones that we kind of used to do, a couple of years ago if you had me for 6th or 7th grade. So let me go ahead and open up the article that you're going to be doing and kind of go over how you're going to be doing it. Because now, remember, when we do our articles, we're going to be using Cami in order to do that. So, and most of you, excuse me, most of you have already had the opportunity to use Cami. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of open up a version of the article that you guys are going to read that I've already kind of started to answer questions on and do that sort of thing. So let me go ahead and open it with Cami. And if you recall, when we used to do these types of articles of the week, I would require you to put in a certain number of relevant comments and that sort of thing. So I do have some articles that are kind of like the older ones that we used to do. The one that we did last week, it's a higher level, and some of you guys aren't quite there yet. So I figured we'd do a couple of weeks of practice ones with these ones. And if you remember, when we do these types of articles, I expect you to read the article 3 times. These articles are very short. It literally will take you 10 minutes to read the article 3 times or less. Okay? So as you go through the article the first time, you're kind of skimming it. These are the marks that you're going to use. All right? So if you come across something you agree with, put a plus sign next to it. Something you disagree with, put a minus sign next to it. Something that's important, use an asterisk or a star. Surprising, you're going to use an exclamation point and question mark for something that you are wondering about or have questions about. Okay. Now, the way that I do it personally, okay, and you'll see, remember, also we need to number the paragraphs. It's really easy to do in Cami. You can see that I've already done that here. So you want to select your text box, and you're going to click your text box over at the side. Choose a color. I don't care what color, as long as it's one that's noticeable. And I used red. So we want to make sure that you have the paragraphs numbered. You'll notice on this one, number 4 didn't end at the end of the page. It continued on to the next page, so I put a 4 beside both of them. Then you can see down here where I started. All right, sorry about that. I was interrupted. So you number your paragraphs. There are 9 paragraphs in this article. Okay. Notice as I go through, I put like an exclamation point here because I found this something that was surprising to me. And I want you to do somewhere between 5 and 10 relevant comments. And you'll notice there's room for you to put comments over here. So what I do is, I put an exclamation point here, and I just drew an arrow using my drawing tool over here, and I wrote a comment. So I wrote, finding bacteria on pens totally makes sense, and we all share things like pens. So this is all about washing your hands, this article. So that was my comment, my one comment there. You can use your drawing tool to put the star, so I put a star here. I never even thought about a pencil sharpener, just sharpen a handle. And that's one of the reasons that I have an electric sharpener. So I put down here, glad I only use an electric pencil sharpener now. Most teachers never think to sanitize the pencil sharpener handle. Okay, so that's how you want to put in your comments and those sorts of things. When it comes to the questions, obviously you're going to be using your text to do this. All right. It says, name one location not mentioned in the text in which one may find a communal pen. If you're not sure what communal means, use a dictionary. A communal pen, it talks about communal pen right here in this whole paragraph. Okay. Just make sure you know what that means. You answer your questions down here. Most of them only take a sentence or two. Down here, it says, what is the best possible means of avoiding bacterial contamination? Cite evidence from the text. So you must go back up here and say, okay, in paragraph whatever, paragraph 5, paragraph whatever. It says, okay, so you tell me what you think the best way to avoid getting a bacterial contamination. Give me evidence from the text. This must be written in complete sentences. Based on interference, what are some, inference, that means making an educated guess. Based on inference, what are some likely reasons the classroom doorknob is among the least infected areas in a classroom? Okay, so what are some reasons that a classroom doorknob is among the least infected areas in a classroom? That seems like it doesn't make sense, but it does if you read the article. Okay, this next box, it says create a public service announcement for school-aged children to help them avoid illnesses caused by bacteria. Cite a minimum of 3 pieces of textual evidence to support your PSA. So you're going to write a public service announcement down here. Okay, write it in words. If drawing, you can draw something to help you explain it, but you need to have words written down here. So a public service announcement is one of those announcements that you might hear on the radio or on a television for a commercial. Okay, so you want to give a public service announcement for kids, young kids, maybe younger than you, to help them avoid getting caught with illnesses. So you might say something like, be sure you wash your hands every time you use the restroom, or be sure that you use hand sanitizer frequently. So you need to have at least 3 pieces of textual evidence, okay? The key word there is textual. Textual means from the article's text. So 3 pieces of evidence from that text to support your public service announcement. And then finally, using data from the text, explain how many soap dispensers in the research project were found to have been contaminated with bacteria. Show each step in your work and provide an explanation in a bulleted list. So you have to use the data from this article, and you're talking about numbers. So we have the soap dispenser information is here. You see there's some numbers in your data, okay? So you need to use those numbers to explain how many soap dispensers were in the research project that were contaminated with bacteria. All right, and here's a clue, okay? They sampled this many, and 23% of this many were contaminated. So it becomes a question of percentages. So the question actually becomes, what is 23% of 132? You know how you do that? You use a calculator. Boom. 23% of 132. So remember, if you're a math student, you should know how to do this. 23% is 0.23 times 132. Okay? I'm not going to give you the answer, but you need to figure that part out. All right? So this is how you do the article. You turn it in. When you guys open it up with Cami, you will have a turn-in button up here. And this one, I think I made it due on Sunday. Okay, so that's how we're going to be doing the articles from here on out. They're a little bit easier than the one that I posted last week. So if you have any questions about this, please shoot me a text or an email or a private message in Google Classroom. Good luck.